Today we're diving into some ancient Zen wisdom. But this isn't going to be some dry history lesson. Think of this stuff as a super practical toolkit, a set of really powerful ideas for just navigating the chaos of the world we live in right now. Have you ever asked yourself that? You're trying to work, or maybe just relax, or even get to sleep, but there's this constant chatter in your head. It just doesn't stop. So why is that? And I guess more importantly, what can we actually do about it? So here's a really useful way to think about this. Let's not frame Zen as a belief system, but more like an operating system for your mind, right? It's a way to manage your thoughts, to understand your own reactions, and hopefully find a little bit of clarity in all that noise. Okay, our first big idea is all about the stories we tell ourselves. It's this core Zen concept that says, events themselves don't make us suffer. It's the narrative we create about those events that really does the damage. And this quote just sets the stage perfectly. It's suggesting that anger isn't some punishment that comes from the outside. No, it's actually a self-inflicted wound. The feeling itself is the consequence. And there's this amazing Zen story that illustrates this perfectly. Let's talk about the parable of the empty boat. So, imagine this. You're out on a river, and suddenly, another boat just bumps right into yours. Your first reaction? Anger. You start yelling at the careless jerk who hit you. But then, you look a little closer, and you see the boat is totally empty. And just like that, poof, your anger disappears. The event, the collision, it didn't change at all. What changed was the story you were telling yourself. There was no careless person, there was no disrespect, it was just an empty boat. It's such a powerful lesson, right? Our suffering so often comes from the story, not the event itself. So this really brings it home. Just think about your day so far. That person who cut you off in traffic, the coworker who sent that really blunt email. Were you actually reacting to what happened, or were you reacting to a story you made up about what they were thinking? How many times are we just yelling at empty boats? Okay, so building on that, our next idea is about that feeling of being totally stuck, trapped between regrets about the past and fears about the future. This next story gives us a way to find a little bit of peace, right in the middle of all that stress. So the story goes, there's a person hanging from a vine off a cliff, and above them, there's a tiger. This tiger, well, it represents our past. All those regrets, the old wounds, the stuff we can't change that still feels like it's chasing us. And then, when they look down, guess what? There's another tiger waiting below. And that's the tiger of the future. Our anxieties, all our worries about what might happen, our fears of failing, it feels like you're completely trapped between the two. But then, dangling right there, between these two terrifying tigers, the person notices something. Growing on the cliff face is a single wild strawberry. And in that one moment, they just reach out, pick it, and really taste how sweet it is. That strawberry, that represents a moment of pure, simple joy that's always there in the present moment, no matter how bad things seem. It could be the warmth of the sun, the taste of your coffee, or the sound of someone laughing. And this quote just captures that idea so perfectly. The tigers of the past and future? Yeah, they might be real. But so is the joy of right now. We just have to be paying enough attention to actually notice it. All right, our third big idea explores the art of letting go. Because there's a huge difference between a physical thing that happens and is over, and the mental weight we decide to carry around for hours or days or even years later. This timeline breaks down another one of those great stories. So, two monks come to a river, and there's a woman there who can't cross. The older monk, without saying a thing, just picks her up, carries her across the river, and puts her down on the other side. Then the monks just keep walking. But hours later, the younger monk is just seething. He finally explodes. We're monks. We're forbidden to touch women. How could you do that? And the elder monk just looks at him, totally calm, and says, I left her at the riverbank hours ago. Are you still carrying her? The actual physical act was over in a minute, but the younger monk's mental burden, his judgment, his anger, just replaying it over and over, that was so much heavier, and it lasted so much longer. And that's the mental baggage we all carry, right? Replaying that awkward thing you said in a meeting, obsessing over a mistake from years ago. The heaviest things we carry aren't in our hands, they're in our heads. So how do we tie all this together? Well, our final idea kind of synthesizes everything we've talked about, and it's this. Real wisdom doesn't come from just piling up more and more information. It comes from creating space for real insight. This amazing quote comes from a story about a very smart professor who goes to visit a Zen master.
The professor just talks on and on about everything he knows. The master starts pouring him some tea, and he keeps pouring even after the cup overflows. "Stop, it's full," the professor yells. And the master just replies with that question, pointing out that he can't teach anything new to a mind that's already completely full.
And that right there is the whole point. All these Zen ideas, mastering our stories, finding our strawberry, letting go of our burdens, they aren't about adding more complexity to your life. They're actually about clearing away the mental clutter, the judgments, the constant internal chatter, so you can just see things a little more clearly.
I mean, we spend so much of our time trying to fill our cups with facts and opinions and plans. But what if the real breakthroughs don't come from what we add, but from what we're willing to let go of? What new perspectives, what simple joys, what quiet truths could you finally see if your cup were just a little more empty?